Following the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, several nations took on Al-Qaeda and the Taliban during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, which was the initial combat operations starting on 7 October 2001, in the wake of the 11th of September attacks on the United States, and during 2002 and 2003. This list covers U.S. and coalition forces and other forms of support for Operation Enduring Freedom from October 2001. Some nations' operations in Afghanistan continued as part of NATO's International Security Assistance Force. For example, United States troops are deployed both in the OEF and ISAF. See the article Afghanistan War Order, a battle for the current disposition of coalition forces in Afghanistan. For coalition forces involved in NATO International Security Assistance Force combat operations in southern Afghanistan in 2006. See the article Coalition Combat Operations in Afghanistan in 2006. For coalition forces in Afghanistan in 2007, see the article Coalition Combat Operations in Afghanistan in 2007. For coalition forces in Afghanistan in 2008, see the article Coalition Combat Operations in Afghanistan in 2008, and the article International Security Assistance Force for coalition forces in Afghanistan as part of ISAF. Primary sources: U.S. Department of Defense and U.S. State Department. Afghanistan. Afghan National Security Forces are currently trying to take an increasing role in battling the Taliban insurgency. Australia. At their peak, Australian troops in Afghanistan numbered 1,550. They were one of only 3 countries to openly support operations in Afghanistan at the war's beginning, along with United States and the UK. Australian troops were deployed to Uruzgan province, while Special Forces personnel also operated in Afghanistan. Armenia. Armed Forces of Armenia is tripling its Afghan contingent to 130 personnel, and it may increase its military presence in Afghanistan to 260 personnel at the next troop rotation. Azerbaijan. Azerbaijani Armed Forces has deployed over 184 soldiers to Afghanistan. Bangladesh. Bangladesh provided the use of its airspace and seaports. Bangladeshi NGOs, particularly BRAC, are among the largest and most active development agencies in Afghanistan. Bulgaria. Bulgaria has deployed 608 troops in Afghanistan, as well as medical personnel. Belgium. In 2002, a tri-national detachment known as the European Participating Air Forces of 18 Danish, Netherlands and Norwegian F-16 ground attack fighters aircraft deployed to Manis Air Base in Kyrgyzstan to support operations in Afghanistan. Belgium contributed a C-130 Hercules and 4 F-16 aircraft. Currently, Belgium has around 550 troops stationed in Afghanistan, mainly in Kabul, Kunduz and Kandahar Airport. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina deployed a unit of 37 men to destroy munitions and clear mains, in addition to 6 command personnel, as part of the multinational force in Iraq. The unit was first deployed to Fallujah, then Talil Air Base, and is now located at Camp Echo. In December 2006, the Bosnian government formally extended its mandate through June 2007. Bosnia and Herzegovina is planning to send another 49 soldiers from the 6th Infantry Division to Iraq in August 2008. Their mission will be to protect guard Camp Victory in Baghdad. Canada. In 2002, Canada had 2,100 personnel in the CENTCOM region and 700 naval personnel. Ground troops included elements of the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry Regiment and Royal Canadian Regiment, and JTF-2 Special Forces. Since initial deployments supporting OEF, Canadian forces have supported OEF and ISAF. Since the summer of 2006, the expanded Canadian force supported the NATO ISAF mission in South Afghanistan. Exit strategy. Canada had pledged to stop its military operations there by the end of 2010, and had begun logistical preparations to end any substantive combat role by the end of 2011. China has provided mine clearance and police training for Afghan security forces, but has resisted international pressure to deploy troops to the country. The Chinese government considers Afghanistan a quagmire, and fears that if troops were to be deployed, rising casualties would provoke massive anti-war sentiment in China, due to the one-child policy. Congo. The Republic of the Congo offered the United States and allies logistical support. Cyprus offered the United States and allies use of its airspace and airports. Also, the United Kingdom used its RAF bases in their sovereign base areas in Attribution and Dikalia to stage attacks and aid the ground forces. Czech Republic provided training and material support for allied Afghan forces. Sent 3 times a Special Forces detachment. Other activities in ISAF: Field Hospital, KAIA Airfield Command, PRT Loga, Force Protection for German PRT and Dutch PRT, Denmark. Since 2002, the number of ground forces committed by the Danish army has been steadily increased from 50 to 750 soldiers and support staff. These forces include a tank platoon with 3 Leopard 2 Model 2A5DK tanks. The majority of the Danish forces are deployed in the Helmand province, operating in the Gerrit district as part of the ISAF force under UK command. The Danish forces have suffered substantial casualties, including 43 deaths up till January 2013. This is currently the highest level of casualties compared to the contribution size. Additionally, Danish Jägerkorpset special forces have been deployed at various times, including a substantial number in 2002. In 2002, a tri-national detachment known as the European Participating Air Forces of 18 Danish, Netherlands and Norwegian F-16 ground attack fighter aircraft deployed to Manis in Kyrgyzstan to support operations in Afghanistan. Denmark contributed 6 F-16 aircraft. Lars Løkke Rasmussen, Prime Minister of Denmark, said his country's commitment depends on whether Afghanistan's the 7th of November presidential runoff produces a credible leader. Egypt. Egyptian Field Hospital at Bagram. Egypt opened an Egyptian Field Hospital at Bagram in 2003. The hospital treats more than 7,000 Afghans per month. Treatment is provided free of charge. 31% of the hospital's patients are children. Link. Egyptian Field Hospital at Bagram. Also, Egypt offered the use of its airspace. Estonia offered the use of its airspace and provided logistical support in theatre. Estonia deployed about 150, and later a further 250, to Afghanistan. France. Over 4,000 personnel including the Marine Nationale, 3,200 ground troops and 350 from the ARME Écoute de l'Air. The first deployed French force was composed of soldiers from the 21st Marine Infantry Regiment deployed on 17 November 2001, to Mazar-e-Sharif. As of 17 September 2011, 75 French soldiers have died. In 2001 and beginning again in the summer of 2003, 200 soldiers from various units of the Army Special Forces Brigade, along with Marine and Air Commandos, have conducted operations against the Taliban, under command and in cooperation with U.S. Special Operations Forces present in the area. French forces have since supported the ISAF mission. In August 2008, France took over control of the Kabul Regional Command. 10 French troops were killed and a further 21 wounded in an attack, the heaviest loss of troops France has suffered since deploying to Afghanistan. In 2002 it was announced on 19 August Georgia. Georgia deployed 174 troops to Afghanistan, and deployed 1,900 peacekeepers in 2010 for peacekeeping and counter-terrorism operations. A total of 750 to 800 soldiers are being deployed since 2010, making Georgia the highest net contributor per capita to the coalition forces. Germany. In 2002, Germany had 2,560 personnel in the region. German Kommando Spezialkräfte special forces were involved in combat operations. The German Navy has had 3 frigates, 1 fast patrol boat group and 4 supply ships operating out of Djibouti, in the Gulf of Aden. A German Airbus A310 aircraft was on alert in Germany for use as a medevac platform. German forces have since supported the ISAF mission. The Bundestag is scheduled to vote on the mission in December 2009. It is claimed that other European nations will follow Germany's lead. Greece. Greek naval vessels have supported the ISAF since 2002. Hungary. Hungary deployed 360 troops to Afghanistan, provided training for Allied forces, and opened its air bases for Allied use. India. India had offered all operational assistance to the United States, including use of its facilities, in any operations launched in pursuit of the perpetrators of the 11th of September attack. Importantly, Indian intelligence officials provided the United States with needed information concerning the financing and training of Islamic extremist groups in Afghanistan and Pakistan. The Indian government had also offered the United States the use of its territory for staging any military operations in Afghanistan. On the naval front, India provided a frigate for escorting coalition shipping through the Straits of Malacca, made shipyards available for coalition ship repairs and opened ports for naval port calls. India offered the U.S. its air bases and provided the Northern Alliance with logistical support. The Indian Army opened a hospital in Tajikistan to treat injured Northern Alliance soldiers. India also loaned Mi-17 helicopters to the Northern Alliance. Iran. Iran, having viewed the Taliban as a bitter enemy, aided coalition forces in an uprising in Herat, Ireland. Ireland has permitted U.S. military aircraft to use Shannon International Airport as a refueling hub. Also, Ireland has 7 troops deployed to the ISAF's headquarters in Kabul. Italy. Italy has 2,850 men in Afghanistan. Italian naval warships, including its only carrier battle group, supported combat operations in the North Arabian Sea. Italy deployed a 43-man engineer team to Bagram, Afghanistan to repair the runway in May 2002. Kuwait. Kuwait provided basing and overflight permissions for all U.S. and coalition forces. Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan allowed U.S. and Allied aircraft to use Manis Air Base. Latvia provided logistical support. Lithuania. 40 Special Forces AITVARAS troops, from 2002 to 2004. After 2005, Lithuania has deployed up to 268 soldiers. Most of them were deployed in Prtchacharan. Macedonia. Macedonia has 244 troops in Afghanistan. Malaysia. Malaysia provided use of its airspace and logistical support. Montenegro. Montenegro will deploy 40 soldiers, a 3-member medical team, and 2 officers under German command to Afghanistan in 2010. Netherlands. The Netherlands' help in 2006 included a build, fight and air support mission in Afghanistan with 2,100 soldiers. In 2010 all Netherlands troops returned home, and a few months later they began a police training mission with the Marechaussee and the task force. The Netherlands troops are members of the ISAF. New Zealand. New Zealand Prime Minister Helen Clark announced in April 2008 that there would be additional New Zealand troops sent to the provincial reconstruction team in Banyan Province, because of concern over the deteriorating situation in Afghanistan. a member of the NZSAS in Afghanistan, Corporal Bilapiata, was awarded the Victoria Cross for New Zealand in 2007 for bravery under fire in 2004. 3 other SASH soldiers also received bravery awards for actions during the same mission. 2 received the New Zealand Gallantry Decoration and 1, the New Zealand Gallantry Medal. There are also 2 C-130 Hercules and 1 Boeing 757 transport aircraft and an unstated number of New Zealand Special Air Service Special Forces soldiers and 2 Anzac-class frigates in the Persian Gulf. In November 2007, a nephew of New Zealand's Minister of Defence Phil Goff died in Afghanistan. He was United States Army Captain Matthew Ferrara, who held both American and New Zealand citizenship. In July 2008, the 6th Australian soldier died in Afghanistan, New Zealand-born SASH signaller Sean McCarthy. The decision was made in August 2009 that NZSAS troops would be sent back to Afghanistan. Exit strategy. The government of New Zealand is working on an exit plan to pull all New Zealand troops out of Afghanistan. Norway. In 2002, a tri-national detachment known as the European Participating Air Forces of 18 Danish, Dutch and Norwegian F-16 ground attack fighters aircraft was deployed to Manas International Airport in Kyrgyzstan to support operations in Afghanistan. Norway contributed 4 to 6 F-16s. Also deployed from Norway were logistic teams, mine clearance teams, special forces groups and several C-130 transport aircraft. Norway also has an army training base located in Afghanistan. Currently, they have lost 1 soldier in an RPG attack and 1 special forces lieutenant in a shootout with hostile gunmen. Norway have also lost 6 soldiers in bomb attacks, 4 of them in the same attack. They were KJKs. Norway redeployed F-16 ground attack aircraft in 2006 as a part of a joint Dutch-Norwegian unit supporting expanded NATO operations in Afghanistan. Currently Norway have a little more than 500 soldiers stationed in Afghanistan, mainly in the north and in Kabul. Oman. Oman offered the United States and allies use of its airspace and air bases. Pakistan. Pakistan has been helping in the war against the Taliban. Pakistan and Iran agreed to open borders to receive the expected increased migration of refugees from Afghanistan. Earlier, Pakistan had supported the Taliban, especially during the 1996 to 1998 period when they were establishing control. Later relations between the two were not as close. After the 9/11 attacks, Pakistan allocated 3 air bases to the United States for the invasion of Afghanistan. USA depends on Pakistan for a route to Afghanistan to supply the ISAF forces more than any source. Poland. Poland has approximately 2,500 troops, mainly from Wojska Ladau, and 10 helicopters stationed primarily in Ghazni province. There is also Wojska Specjalne Compound, JW Grom, JW Komandosov, JW Nil and HHD. Poland has also provided combat engineers and logistical support. Portugal. Portugal deployed 145 soldiers to Afghanistan, and provided a detachment of C-130 Hercules cargo planes. As a NATO member, Portugal supported the invocation of Article 5. Qatar. Qatar offered the United States and allies use of the Al-Udeid Air Base. Romania. 1,843 force consists of a battalion in Kalat, Zabul province. Additionally, a special forces squad operates from Tagading Kapasar province, and a training detachment of 47 personnel is in Kabul. Russia. Russia provided a field hospital as well as a hospital in Kabul for allies and Afghan civilians. Russia has also agreed to provide logistic support for the United States forces in Afghanistan to aid in anti-terrorist operations. Russia is allowing U.S. and NATO forces to pass through its territory to go to Afghanistan. Russian Special Forces has also assisted U.S. and Afghan forces in operations in Afghanistan, by helping with intel and studying the lay of the land. Slovakia provided sappers and specialists on maintenance and reconstruction of airports and technical equipment for such operations. Slovenia deployed from 60 to 90 troops in Afghanistan and several IFVs and armored transport vehicles, and it is considering the possibility of deploying 3 attack helicopters. South Korea provided logistical support and a field hospital. Spain. As a NATO member, Spain supported the invocation of Article 5 of the NATO Charter. Spain made available Spanish military bases for military operations. Spanish forces have since supported the ISAF mission with about 2,500 combat troops in Afghanistan plus a helicopter detachment and 3 C-130 Hercules aircraft. Sudan offered heavy and lightweight logistic support. Sweden has been in Afghanistan since 2002 and has 900 soldiers there. These troops are however not part of OEF, but are under the lead of ISAF. Sweden leads the PRT Mazar-i-Sharif. Switzerland. In its first military deployment since 1815, Switzerland deployed 31 soldiers to Afghanistan in 2003, and 2 Swiss officers had worked with German troops. Swiss forces were withdrawn in February 2008. Tajikistan provided use of its airspace, air bases and facilities for humanitarian aid. Thailand offered America and its allies a fueling station for aircraft and provided logistical support. Turkey offered the United States use of its airspace and air refueling for U.S. aircraft deploying to the region. Turkey would later deploy troops to Afghanistan as part of ISAF. Turkey also provided logistical support. Turkmenistan offered the use of its airspace. United Arab Emirates provided 3 security personnel. Special forces are also in Afghanistan, and Alman had air base as a support hub for Australia, New Zealand, and previously Canadian Air Forces. Ukraine allowed use of its airspace and air bases to America and its allies, but only for cargo flights. Ukraine is a participant in the NATO-led International Security Assistance Force in Afghanistan and has deployed troops as part of NATO's ISAF mission to the country. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom deployed sea, air and land assets for the initial offensive against the Taliban, Al-Qaeda in 2001-2, designated Operation Veritas. The naval element consisted of 1 Invincible-class aircraft carrier, 1 amphibious ship, 1 destroyer, 1 frigate, 3 nuclear fleet submarines and 7 Royal Fleet auxiliaries. The submarines HMS Trafalgar and HMS Triumph launched Tomahawk missiles on targets inside Afghanistan. Special Boat Service and Special Air Service Special Forces also deployed. Later 45 Commando Royal Marines deployed as part of Operation Jasana. The Royal Air Force contributed TriStar and VC-10 tanker aircraft, E-3D Sentry surveillance and control aircraft, Nimrod R-1 surveillance aircraft, Nimrod MR-2 maritime reconnaissance aircraft, Canberra PR-9 reconnaissance aircraft, C-130 Hercules air transport aircraft and Chinook helicopters from 27 Squadron. 453 members of the British Armed Forces have died during OEF. Since initial deployments supporting OEF, British forces have taken part in the ISAF mission, whilst British Special Forces have worked with both OEF and ISAF. In January 2006, Defence Secretary John Reid announced the UK would send a PRT with several thousand personnel to Helmand for at least 3 years. This had been planned as part of the gradual expansion of ISAF's area of responsibility from the Kabul region to the rest of Afghanistan. An initial strength of 5,700 personnel in Afghanistan was planned, which would stabilize to around 4,500 for the rest of the deployment.